welcome to another episode of CALLE NEGOCIOS. I'm your host Tommy, and today's episode is gonna be a little bit different. This isn't just someone on the podcast because he's a business owner, a detailer. There's someone who's my best friend for years, someone that taught me how to become a detailer, someone that pushed me to start my own business myself, and honestly taught me everything that I know and played a big role in who I am and where I am today. But for the people that don't know, who are you, what do you do, where are you from, etc.
My name's Ruben. Thank you for having me here today. Yeah. I'm the owner of Ruben's Auto Detail. I'm from Pacoima, and I have a wife and two kids, a soon-to-be wife and two kids, and I've been doing detailing for 7 years.
7 years. And before detailing, what were you doing? What'd you start as?
I was working at a vet for 8 years before that.
And you were doing, since you out of high school, you were vet. You started at vet.
I had a job at Vallarta and then Best Buy for a year and a year.
And then poco a poco you become a vet. And you just became a vet because that's what you wanted to do, or you liked animals, or what?
I wasn't working, and then my brother was like, "I could get you a job," and made a quick phone call, and then I just landed there, and little by little moved up.
Little bit, okay. And then from there you started detailing. And what made you get into detailing? What made you fall in love with detailing? Because it's not just anything, I
stopped working for 8 months.
8 months.
We planned our daughter. I wanted a baby. We planned her, and then I was working crazy hours for crappy pay. And I was like, no, you know what? This is it. I can't be here.
Oh, okay. And then what made you get into it? So it was your daughter, like pushing you, like you had a kid and you're like, okay, now I gotta start something else.
Yeah, I had a little bit of money saved up, and then I said I'm gonna quit. Put in my 2 weeks notice. Didn't look back. And then on the weekends, my brother will go ahead and he'll tell me, you want to work, make a little bit of cash. And I had my money saved up, but on the weekends he would take me out, make a little bit of money. So little by little started liking it. I'm like, you know what? I used to do this when I was 13 on the high school days.
High school days, yeah.
And I'm like, my brother makes a living. I'm like, maybe I could give it a shot too. And that's when I started.
And you always tell me you started the day of July 4th. You started like holiday. People probably don't even want washes. And te la aventaste, you said.
I started getting my van in May. And then my whole setup and everything was ready to go by the end of June. And we were at my sister's house having dinner, and I told my girl, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post it up that I'm available tomorrow. And she's like, go for it. And then after 30 minutes that I posted up on my story, one of our friends from high school messaged me. She's like, I got 4 cars to do.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, damn, I was nervous. I'm like, hey, it's on.
Oh, shit. Okay. So you just got 4 cars. It was one day before. You didn't even like, okay, I'm going to get a week. Like, okay, I'm going to post it on Monday. You posted it the day before. Boom.
Yeah, the day before. And I was like, it was 8:30 p.m. I'm like, let's do it. And then she's like, when time can you be here? I'm like, I'll be there at 8. And man, I took an hour and 40 minutes per car.
No, when I started, I was taking like 2.5 hours, I think. But back then, because now you detail different. Obviously now, like over the years, you start learning. And we get quicker, but at the same time, the work gets better. And back then, you take longer, but your work is like shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like back then, you don't even do the wheels that you're like, I'm still taking 3 hours in the car.
And we still thought we did a good job,
poco a poco es como, what made you start reading like, okay, I need to take, I need to be quicker, but be more efficient, but still make more, like have more quality, pues. Like when you start realizing that, like, okay,
not cutting steps, but being organized. Knowing what to do first and then what to do last, instead of jumping, like, I wouldn't want to do the last step, in the middle and then do it again because I touched it or did something,
But now for me, like sometimes, like, because we're always taught like do wheels first and then wash it and then do the like scrub it but sometimes when I'm lazy to wash the car, when I get there, I'm like, I'm gonna do the interior first. Does it throw you off, like, if you do that? Because for me, like, sometimes it throws me off a little bit, but not that much. Like, it's more like,
It does, but it's just order of operations to me. I keep it, the same pattern.
Same thing every time.
Try to, unless the weather, interferes, then it's like, damn.
Because sometimes, like, I get there and I'm like, it's too hot. I'm like, I'm not going to do the outside right now. I'm going to do the inside. But stop peor, for sure, because you're inside. But when you first started, how much did you start charging when you first started?
I remember I told her 30 for sedans and 35 for trucks or SUVs.
And era como...
And it was... she tipped me $5, and it's crazy because I still do her cars now. And she pays me double and more.
So to this day, you do her cars?
Yeah.
Dang. That's the thing. I feel like once you get a good client and then they start from the bottom and they see your progression and at the end, those are the real ones. Like, those are the ones that you never want to lose. You never pick up your prices, because there's clients that you're like, I'm going to pick up my price this time. But with this one, like, it's kind of hard. Like, okay, like, hey, you know what? Like,
it's like sentimental and then support value,
Yeah,
They supported your whole growth.
And the biggest struggle when you first started, what do you think was your biggest struggle?
It was honestly trying to find new clients, better clients, you want to say, how we label them.
Better clients. And you think, because for me, I use social media, but I don't use it as how you do it. You use social media as your personal, your business, everything. do you think that helped you like así como to create like? Because I feel like I look at it from from an outside in. When people see your face and people see who you are, I feel like you attract way more business.
Yeah.
Because for me, I don't post my face on my detail page, so I don't think I attract as much business. But you've been like, you post skits, you post your wife, you post your kids, stuff. You think that attracts like?
I think that helps a lot because they see the way that I am. I'm funny.
Yeah.
I try to be funny with my clients. That's how I am. I joke around. I go to my clients I see every week, and they make jokes all the time.
They saw you shaking ass on Instagram last week,
you know. And then my clients make fun of me, and I start doing it to them. You know, and they're like, "You're a fool." So I like doing that, and then it honestly does bring clients.
It gives you personality, pues. Like you're not just a detailer. You're more than that. Yeah. I feel like that's a good thing about this podcast too. I mean, most people know him, or you know, people if you're watching this, you know who he is already because he posts most of his life on his Instagram. But I feel like for me, like this podcast, it shows people like who I am, you know? Like I feel like once you're on camera, it benefits you a lot. It could be something super, like it could like mess up a lot of things, but it could be something super beneficial.
Yeah,
you know?
but they know the face behind the mask.
Exactly.
How they say.
Yeah, because sometimes like, you pull up and people think like, he's a viejillo, and then I pull up and I'm like, what the fuck? He's young, you know? Exactly. Yeah. And let's talk about how we met, because I mean, people, if you're watching this, you might not know who I am, but if you're a close friend of mine or his, you know who I am. We go way back. I've been knowing you now for like 7 years probably, no?
Yeah.
I met you, I think, I didn't meet you at the vet. I met you, I think your first day not your first day, probably like a week before your first day of detailing.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think like around there, because then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go wash cars, and I was like, what the fuck?
My daughter was very young.
Yeah, she was like
months,
2 months,
yeah.
2-3 months.
Yeah.
And when you saw me, because you always tell me the story when you first saw me, you're always like, you know? Tell the people.
I'll be straight up. I thought he was a little, playing for the other team. And I thought he was, a little preppy. I'm like, he's young, no facial hair at all, a little comb over. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to judge this guy. I'm like, okay, cool. Met him, said what's up. I'm not going to judge a book by its cover. But little by little, I'm like, okay, he doesn't play for the team. Yeah, no, he's straight.
You would give me a lot of carrilla every time you would see me, you were like,
because he'd be like this, fixing his hair.
Because I've always had a
little
comb over here, and I would always comb my hair.
Sometimes he pop out a comb, like, what'd you bring that thing out of? The fuck?
And he's never been shy ever since I met him. He's always been, because I didn't meet no one else. I met you and Jen before. Like, you were the first ones, and you would always I would go to your house, and then me echaba carrilla. And then siempre me decía like it's okay to come out, y que no sé qué.
I like to break the ice.
And
people.
Then I was like, nah, he would try to grab my shit like that, But that's why I feel like that's what made us become, super close. And at one point we became super, like, people thought like we're like, for the other side for each other, like we're kind of, But that's just, that's how we messed around, and it was. And then I think we went to Hooters. Remember we went to Hooters?
Oh yeah.
And we still kind of did it, like we talked, but now I see. And then I'm ordering, and then the waiter comes up to me. She goes, "Oh," and mind you, he takes me to Hooters with my girlfriend at the time, and his wife. I think Desi went with us too. Huh?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, bro, I've never been to Hooters. I'm like, what the fuck? We pull up, and then the waiter comes up like, "Oh, what would you like to drink?" I'm like, "Give me a mist twist."
And I was like, "Oh,
what'd you say?"
Oh, that sounds good. I'll take a mist twist too. And she said, "Okay, 2 mist twists." I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be a good ass drink."
But he had asked her for a Shirley Temple before.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm gonna pop on my Shirley Temple. I'm gonna be extra."
And then he goes, "Oh, let me get a mist twist." I'm like, "All right, cool, whatever." The mist twist comes.
So the waitress comes. She's like, "Here's just Sierra Mist." I'm like,
"No," she said mist twist. He's like, "Here's a mist twist." And then he goes, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's like Sierra Mist."
I'm like, this guy couldn't just say Sierra Mist.
Like, you could have just said Sierra Mist. Oh, that was a funny one.
Oh man, that was.
Nah, but from there, and then went to Rosarito one time.
Yeah.
And then Rosarito. Oh man,
that one was crazy.
Rosarito was like, was that? No, that was not. That was the first trip for me.
Yeah.
That was the first trip for me, and then I'm meeting the whole. At this point, I'm meeting the whole family, I think. And then we go to Rosarito, get a house. First impression was, I made the worst first impression. Remember?
Yes.
So we go to Rosarito. We went to, it's called Cocoa Beach. We go to Cocoa Beach, and before that, back then I used to be like, I want Pure 70. I don't drink Bucanas. I don't drink this, blah blah. So I'm making already a big ass like renegando, like, nah, I don't want Bucanas. You know, say que. So the family's already mad at me. Pa empezar, whatever. We get drunk, I get lit. Everyone gets lit. It's only me and him. When he gets drunk, se le voltea poquillo.
Oh, yes.
Se le voltea.
I get lit.
So we're in Mexico, and we leave the club. We're walking down Cocoa Beach. If you guys know that club, we're walking down the little thing. There's a little banda. So now we want banda instead of DJ. So we start looking at the banda. And the guy's like, let me sit you down. Me and him start going at it, whatever. We leave. And then they chase us to the Airbnb. Yep. Oh, because I had got us an Uber. I'm like, I know somebody. I'm like, don't even trip.
What would you call it?
Huh?
What would you call the Uber?
I don't know.
What would they call him over there? They had a word and he kept saying it. You kept saying it. Oh, I know them over here. I'm like, all right, you know them over here, but he's never been there.
No, yeah, I had been there. I went with my cousins when we got him like twice. So I was like, don't even worry about it. So we get the Uber, but then he's like, I'm gonna charge you more this time. So I was like, nah, hell no, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So I go to the other guy, and then he gets mad because I go back to the other guy. So then they follow us to the Airbnb and they try to break into the house. And
the alarm goes off.
The alarm goes off.
Good thing we were in a nice Airbnb.
Good thing we're not, but nice Airbnb. It's like Airbnb, mansion, Beverly Hills mansion, and Pacoima.
And Pacoima. Pacoima Hills.
So we pull up, and the alarm starts going off, and then his cuñado, which is my ex-cuñado, he comes out heated. And I'm like, oh shit, I just fucked up. So then the whole family starts coming out, you know, his suegra.
What's going on?
Tias, everyone's like, what's going on, you know? And then from then, it just, like, I started crying straight up because I was in the room. I was like, bro, what I get myself into? I just made the worst,
Get the family
worst
killed.
impression. And I feel like that's one of the funniest that has to be one of the funniest moments other than, like, another time when you fell.
Oh, my God, hell no.
Tell that story, because
we're having a barbecue at my house. His friends come over. I'm like, yeah, bring your friends. I'm a people person. I'm like, everybody could come to my house. Let's get drunk. Everybody could sleep in the couch, in the floor. So we're getting drunk. And then his girl wanted water that time. I'm like, why do you want water when we have Gatorade, soda, anything you want, including beer? Let's go to 7-Eleven. We go to 7-Eleven. We're coming back, and this guy's dancing, and he's drunk as fuck. I'm drunk too. But the way he's walking, I'm like, he's gonna eat shit.
Because I had 2 galones. I had a soda.
You had one and I had one.
No, you had an ice.
Oh yeah, yeah. You had the soda and no gallon.
And I was
water.
just walking with it, and I was like dancing. I was lit.
And I was behind. I'm like, he's gonna fucking eat shit. So I grabbed my phone, and I put the water down. I'm like, I'm drunk. Then put the water down, and I'm recording him. I'm like, I start walking without the water. I leave the water back there. And he's gonna fucking eat shit right now. And then all of a sudden, boom, I fell. And it's on video.
I was like, what the fuck?
His legs back. No, I'm like, well, there goes.
You know what? We'll insert the clip. You have the clip? You probably have the clip somewhere.
Yeah, I'll send the clip over.
Oh, man. So he gets up.
I got up quick, though. Like, nobody saw me.
So he goes up and he's like, I just fell. So everyone starts cracking up because he's bleeding from his lip.
My lip got busted open.
Jen was complaining about something. You're like, I just busted my lip open.
She was having an anxiety attack because she was so drunk. I don't know what I did.
Oh my God, that story is funny because then he went to the ER. You had to go to the ER, no?
A week later.
He was like, I broke my back, or I fractured, no sé qué.
I had muscle spasms. Oh no, it was bad. It was bad.
Nah, but those are a couple stories. I mean, later on we'll get into more. Like, if I want to, hopefully next segment or next podcast, if we have another podcast, I want to do the carne asada, segment with him. He's the one that, I mean, if you know me, I'm always cooking. So now you know, obviously, and he's the I think you know. Well, my cousin Ali, Alex and Tito.
Yeah.
They used to grill, but Alex and Tito, you guys suck at grilling. And they used to grill. You put me la chuleta fresca. And then I started like I wouldn't cook with you because you would cook all the time. And then eventually I'm like, I'm gonna start cooking too. Boom. So now I love cooking. I'm always making carne asada. So I want to make a segment where I think I told you, no, I want to make a segment with carne asada. So maybe next episode, I mean, maybe later on in the future we'll do that. And you guys get to see like the full how we are and stuff like that. But switching topics a little bit about the funny side. When you first met me, I mean, I was obviously young. I was like 18 at the time. Before we get into that, so starting your business. So you started your business, and then now you're 7 years in the business. And when you started, did you ever think like you would be this successful as you are now?
I didn't.
Because it's like it's like a cutthroat business.
It's like you don't really plan the next few days. You don't see yourself like, am I gonna be booked in this day? Am I gonna have that work? You play it as you go, and you have cancellations. It's not like you can't expect them to keep their word 100%. Things come up. Even we cancel days,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and it's like, it's not even cancellations, just cancellations. Life happens, people get hurt. And you've had many incidents where you've had like moments where you thought like, damn, this is the end of my career for detailing, remember?
Yeah.
Like you had eye surgery.
Yeah.
And that was I remember being at that, and you were scared, you were like, damn, like what happens now? Like, cause you don't like when you're your own boss. You know, you don't have no one to depend on. You don't have no vacation. You got no sick time. You don't got no.
You don't
got nothing, and it's like you have kid. Yeah, did you have Vincent already? You had Vincent already.
Yeah,
no?
he was young.
He was barely. Wasn't he barely born?
No, he was a couple months already. But he was a tough cookie.
Yeah, so you had 2 babies, and then you have your wife. You were living on your own already. So what was that? What was going through your head at that moment? Like, cause you probably never talked about it. You probably. So I always say like we feel stuff, but we never fully. Like, we don't express it because you want to be like tough skin. Like I got
this one was one of like my darkest days, and it's crazy because I tell my girl that all the time. Like those were my darkest days, and she was there. Yeah. I gave it up to her because she was there. My son was hard. I couldn't do crap. Yeah. Couldn't do anything for 6 weeks. I had to keep my eyes down, my head down. Couldn't lift anything much than 5 pounds. I tried doing laundry after 2 weeks, and I literally see like a strain. Like it was crazy. Like in the movies when you see things like that, I literally saw like a little white line pass by, and I'm like, oh, can't do laundry. So I had to like roll it up my stairs, pull it up a little bit so I wouldn't be carrying it. Yeah. And it was tough because I couldn't see myself. The 6 weeks were never gonna end for me, and I was losing my money. My savings were gone. You know how to borrow money. Yeah. My mom and my suegra stepped in. They let me borrow money, and once those 5 weeks passed, and I went to a doctor, like you could probably start working next week. I got hope. Yeah. I really got excited. I was happy. I'm like, damn, like, cause we struggled. We were eating beans, like literally how they say,
tough. Yeah, it gets tough.
We were recycling anything that we can to make it last longer. Mm-hmm. And once those 6 weeks passed, I remember telling my wife, I was like, we got this. I got this. I need to come back full force, and I can't stop working, to pay every cent back, pay every penny I owe. People that had spotted me, Yeah. It was, people felt bad, and they were caring for me, and I knew everything that people did, And
this is already years in. You were how many years in at this point into detailing?
This was already 4 years in.
This was 4 years in, and that's one. But before that, when you're a small business and the rainy season, like, because I think it was like year 2 or year 3 when we struggled with the rain, because that was like my second or first. Yeah. And it rained like a lot.
Like 3 weeks in a row, that was all rain.
That's another struggle. That's a struggle that we always say, like, detailers don't survive the rainy season. No. It's like, sir, you could survive, how he said, like, he had his eye surgery, you could survive that. But rainy season, when people don't survive, and for me, that's when at 1 year, I almost didn't survive. That's when I started selling my car. I started like, damn, And especially when you have a girlfriend, you have a wife, you have kids. You have kids, and you have your own place. Were you already moved out or no? Yeah. Yeah, you already moved out. So you got to pay rent, you got to do all that. And it's like, that's where the dark side comes out again. Like those are dark moments when people around you, because people look at it como sunshine and rainbows. Like, I get his own business. This is what makes money. Yep. So he's washing cars. He charges tanto, but it's like, yeah, you could charge so much, but there's way more to it than just charging. There's way more.
Yeah, and then there's your lifestyle. Your lifestyle. Kids.
You gotta eat. Yeah. You gotta pay gas. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. But so you survived, rainy season. I survived for 3 years, but then 1 year I was like, okay, like, well, it wasn't even raining no more. But eventually it gets tough. Yeah. And when it got tough for you, what do you think made you like this is what, like, I can't go back to working a 9 to 5, por ejemplo?
Honestly, seeing my lifestyle that I had already set up for my kids, rent was expensive, is expensive, everything costs so much money, so I'm like, I can't back down from this. Mm-hmm. I can't. I need to figure it out. So I started doing specials, and people know me. Then they know me that around rainy season, the holiday season is rainy specials all year long. All year long. And that's what helps me, promote my business, Mm-hmm. Keep any little income is gonna help a long way.
Yeah, you always told me that. Like, because for me, I drive from Palm, so for me going to the valley is like, I gotta make it worth it. And that's something that has affected me for years. I feel like people, I wish I could charge cheap. I wish I could charge $10-15 less, but those $10-15 is my gas. Yeah. Every client, etc. So for him, he would always, I'm like, oh, just do a deal. But I'm like, yeah, here and there would help me. You do 2 deals a day, like, ya sale pa comer, Yeah. But do you think that's something that kept you como like, okay, like, because your clients know you, how you said your clients know you for that. So every year, like, they're like, okay, rainy season's coming, ya vamos a, like, I'm gonna get hooked up this time.
That will help me was word of mouth too.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, because once I do one rainy deal for one client, I'm gonna tell my boy, I'm gonna tell this person, can you do my wife's car? I'm like, hey, you know what? If you do it in the next month, I'll do it for $50 cheaper.
Yeah.
And then that keeps bringing in the income.
That is one thing. I feel like for me, like I posted a clay and wax the other day, and then someone's like, "Oh, how much is that?" I feel like once one person sees the engine bay, how much is the engine bay, and then you do like it comes a trend for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it becomes a trend.
And it's like
exactly.
2 weeks, oh engine bay, and then boom.
Yeah.
And because I did clay and wax like 2 weeks ago, or the week before, like last week, the week of the carne asada. So I did him, and I didn't post that I did clay and waxes, and then like I posted and then it becomes a trend, and now it's a trend. I have like a couple clients like, oh,
yeah,
wax,
they see the results.
And I feel like it's good,
Yeah.
But and then in the beginning, do you think because it's como, what is it? How can I say, like clickbaiting? Like remember back then, like you put like, oh, did like the wheel liner, but you already did that, but you just put like extra charge wheel liner.
Yeah.
It's como in the beginning, like you kind of like, I did this extra, but you threw it in, but you didn't even charge them.
It's a trend, like the whole thing with the boo-boos, the whole thing with the squishies. People like it, and they say, oh, I want that, and then they want their car shiny,
Yeah, exactly. Because me, when back then, I was like, you know what, today I'm gonna record the liner. The client didn't pay for it, but I'm gonna say he paid for it, and I'm gonna just throw it in. And the next one, okay, like, cause you charge for that. It's like como saying, like sometimes you have extra time, like I'm gonna do a clean wax on his car. He didn't pay for it, but I have extra time, and you throw it in there, and then that it's como you lose to win.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It has a outcome,
Yeah, and then let's talk about, cause me in business, I mean, it's like me, like this is my business. So like for example, like say I do detailing, and someone else like I want to start detailing. Some people are like, nah, fuck no, like I ain't gonna teach this fool, like you're gonna take my business away. But for you didn't, I don't think you ever cared about that. You always, like we always said, there's enough cars for everybody in this world.
Yeah.
So there's, everyone has a car, everyone needs a car wash. And you took on like, you know what, you kind of like came to me solo. You were like, hey, like you should start detailing.
Well, I used to wash his car, and he used to pay me good. He used to work at an AC company.
I used to work at
remember?
an AC company, yeah.
And I used to go every other Friday.
No, you
moved up. You moved up. He was every other Tuesday, and then I'm like, okay, he pays good.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday. Once you're in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're good. Yeah. So I remember I would go, and then there was a little vending machine all the time. I'd get a drink. He'll buy me a drink from the little corner, and I would do his car. And then I remember one time he looked at me and he's like, hey, my car comes out clean.
Yeah.
And you asked me something, and I'm like, you want to go? You only used to work Monday to Friday.
I work Monday to Friday, yeah.
And then one day you said, oh, like.
But ya te había contado that I hated my job. I remember.
Yeah. And then you mentioned something about. I'm like, you said something. I'm like, you want to go work Saturday? And then you're like, I'm down. Yeah. I'm like, I could get work, but you need to work. Like you need to move around, blah blah. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be rainbows the first day. We're gonna mess up. And you're like, yeah, I'm down. All right, cool. Be at my house tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Oh, no, 7 a.m. because you live,
Yeah, so I pulled up.
And you're like, okay, I'll leave at 5:30. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm not even awake at 5:30. So you pulled up and vámonos.
I remember I pulled up, short sleeve. I think I pulled up with white shoes. I didn't even, like,
I let you borrow shoes.
Yeah.
I got you an undershirt. I'm like, no, this guy did not come ready. It's okay. I'm like, it's the first day.
Yeah, the first day, I didn't take a sombrero. I remember you only had one knee pad because it was only you.
Yeah.
So I was like squatting down. So whatever. And I mentioned it for my first episode. I talked about this, that you took me to.
Oh yeah. Damn.
So and don't worry, we'll bleep out names. So,
you can.
So I talked about that. You took me to. And my first client, I was like, oh.
He's like, what the hell is this?
We're pulling up mansions and shit. Ferrari. I told him he had like what? He had two Rolls Royce. No?
He had the Rolls Royce, yeah.
Two Rolls Royce. He had a McLaren.
Yeah.
He had a Ferrari, no?
He had the Ferrari inside.
Ferrari, and then
the Audi R8, the yellow one.
No, I didn't do that one. It was another one. It was another.
Then it was probably another Ferrari. Then.
It was. He had badass car.
Oh, and his Escalade for his parents.
Oh yeah, también.
Yeah, the big black one.
And I was telling him, talked about in the first episode, that I remember so it's my first day, right? And I'm kind of like, he's my homie, but at the same time, it's like,
and I'm your boss.
Like he's my boss, right? So he's like, do this and do that. And I remember I was like in the car and I was like taking pictures, but I didn't want him to see me because I didn't want to be like, hey, why are you taking pictures of the client's cars, So I was just there, and then whatever, we do the whole day, and then we went to Landon McBroom's house, remember? So I talked about that. You took me to Landon McBroom's house. So maybe my first day is como, imagine they take you your first day and they're like, all right, like
exotics,
as a detail, that's everyone's dream. Once you hit exotics on a, we'll talk about that later on. But so my first day was exotics, and then doing a YouTuber, and I was like, bro, And then, but let's talk about how you used to put him before me. Remember, at one point you used to cancel me. I talked about that. Remember?
Yeah.
So and we talk about valuing. It doesn't matter what you drive. It doesn't matter what kind of car you have. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about. Oh wait, actually we kind of jumped the gun, huh? Okay. Story about me starting. So then, when you made me start, so what made you like? Okay, like it's fine. Like I'm gonna teach him everything like that I know, without hesitating. Because I didn't feel like you hesitated.
No, I didn't, because like when somebody comes to me and if I know them personally, like if I have the time, at that time I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
And when you say you didn't like your job, I was like, damn, if I could help him, I'm gonna do it. And when he started working, right away he got B plus.
Yeah.
On the first day, I liked it. I'm like, okay, he could just tighten up a couple things, but it's his first day. I can't blame the guy. And I just appreciated how you put in the effort, But if you were to come the first day and not show any effort, and you were to look like a little slouch, like the whole shoes and the uniform, I didn't tell him what to wear.
Yeah.
But other than that, if I were to notice that he was not prepared, I'll be like, you know what, maybe I'll give him another chance. If not, I'm not gonna keep wasting my time investing it,
Yeah, I know exactly. Because you see, it's like if I show up, I'm like, fuck that. Like
I remember when I paid you the first day, you were like, oh damn.
And I mentioned that, so I mentioned that you paid me like $400 almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And I remember we pulled up to his mom's house, because at that time you lived at your mom's house.
You were red.
So I pull up, and his brother does detailing. So we pull up, and they're just cracking up at me, because I'll like estoy güerito, So I pull up and I'm burned. Like
his cheeks were red.
He walks in, he's like, "What's up, guys? We're here." And I'm like walking in, like.
And I walked in with food. He had the sodas. You had the sodas.
I didn't want to eat. I was just like, man. And they're like, "What happened? What'd you do?" I was like, "Man, he took me to work." It was the worst.
How many cars did we do? I think they asked you, and you're like, "We did 9 cars, no, or something like that."
Bro, first day. We started at 7 when we got home when it was dark, and I think it was like during like the time where like the sun goes down late, so it was like 8-9 p.m. already. I was like, bro, I'm done. But so I told him after that first day when you paid me, you gave my first check, because obviously I worked by the day at the time, So he gives me my check or my money, and I look at it, and that's when I was like, I'm gonna start my own business. And you're like, yeah, like do it, like I'll help you, like. And that's another thing too. He'll be like, te la pintaba fácil. Look, you do wash 2 cars a day, and then you wash 5 cars and this and that. There's your card payment. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, Mom, like,
And I think that's what helped you realize, like, oh, he's right. And if I do that, I mean, but like I said, when I had my eye surgery, you don't see the end of that. You don't see a plan. But once you start thinking positive, you bring it in, You're like, I could do it. I'm going to go ahead and do my best to get that shit done.
Yeah. And what do you think when I told you, like, okay, because I think I told you I was gonna go buy. Well, I told you I was gonna buy a van, but I think I was gonna buy a used one at the time.
No, but then
I called him. I bought a van. What do you think? In your head, like real shit, where you're like.
I thought you bought the little Nissan ones. I'm like, I want one like that, But I thought you bought like a little 2018, 2013 cash. I'm like, okay, he bought a van. And when he pulled up, I was like, what the fuck? He bought a van or a house?
And what do you think where you like, este güey se drogó, this fool doesn't even know what is coming? Or
no, I didn't tell someone like, he needs my help. I'm gonna help him out, because that payment looks expensive.
Shit, I didn't even tell him how much. And then, look, he gave me my tank. I remember pulling up to, so the reason why he saw the van, because he's like, oh, pull up to my mom, so I have a tank for you. So I was gonna buy a tank, and you're like, nah, I have an old one. Dude, tank. He's like, it's just leaking a little bit, whatever, we fixed it. And I pull up and he sees the van. That's when he's like, and I know like people trip out. And my mom tripped out. I'm like, I can just imagine the fool that influenced me. He's like, yeah, bro, go do this. And it's like telling the fool, hey, go buy a Honda. He pulls up with a Lambo.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the tank? I told my girl, I put it up for sale, and I'm like, oh, tank for sale. I had just taken it off because I got the slim one. And then some guy messaged me like, okay, I'll give you 150. I'm like, all right, fuck it, 150, pick it up. And then he called me later. I'm like, you know what? The tank actually doesn't work no more, bro. And that guy got mad. He unfollowed me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm like, I gotta help him out. And then when he pulls up with the van, I'm like, yeah, good thing I didn't sell the tank, because that's an expensive thing. I'm like, I gotta help him out. And I remember I gave you the bottle holders. I'm like, I got some more stuff for you. Let's load up the van.
Yeah, he started giving me stuff. And one thing about me, I make things que rindan hasta acá ya no pueden. He gave me like a bunch of spray bottles. He gave me like I think I still have the black carrier.
Oh, because
I still have that. I never bought, the bottles I bought, because when I first started, I still have the bottles actually in my garage. I still have them in a little box. I have them like in case, because me I'm like, I'm gonna like Shine Supplies, like oh, Shine Supplies. So I started buying Shine Supply bottles y que este que el otro. But that's how I started. So he pushed me, and then
I remember from the beginning you had a lot of like, you were into it.
Yeah,
You
it's
didn't
'cause
want to.
You tried helping people before.
Yeah.
Y por años no pueden, or not que no pueden, but they don't want to, you know.
They don't take advice, you know.
They don't
Sometimes they
take
think.
advice,
I
yeah.
mean, I went through. I had the failures, you know, and not just in the detail business, you know. Even at the vet, sometimes I had encounters and stuff, and my old manager would always coach me through that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I carried a lot of his advice, because my old manager, he was hard headed, but he knew what he was doing, you know. And that's what made me today too, you know. When I deal with clients and potential clients, I'm like, you know, I'm not gonna waste my time. You know, I could read them because of that. And that's what made me also help read people. So when I saw you, I'm like, no, he's gonna do it, and I'm gonna run him through it, you know.
Yeah. And what was one of the biggest failures that when you're starting, you're like fuck, like I failed, like, because I mean it wasn't. I mean you started. I mean you had to have a fail like the first year, I'm sure, no.
It was jumping the gun on pricing, and then also one of my biggest failures was that I was just saying yes to everybody, and at one point I remember I was driving 100 and something miles a day, not coordinating my schedule, my
you were
route.
going to like OC at one point, remember?
Yeah.
So he would so I started my thing, and then when I didn't, when I had a slow day or I didn't have enough work, he'd be like, hey, come with me, like we're gonna go here and we'll drive like, you know, middle of, but you know, who knows where. He's like, we're gonna do this and back, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And you know, but I understand that, because for me in the beginning, you're taking on everything.
Yeah, and I would say yes.
You don't care what it is.
To Silmar, and then go to Reseda, and then back to Silmar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm messing up. I'm wasting too much gas, too much time. That was a big failure that I would arranging my schedule.
But that's a like a struggle that no one sees. Your client, you know, our clients see like he posted at 12 p.m. and it's like yeah, no, like we put our times, but it's like at the same time, like sometimes in the beginning you can't do this, but you're like, your client somewhere put like I want 2 p.m. and then your client in like, por ejemplo, like, you know, let's say like
20 miles away,
Van Nuys, he's like, oh, hey, but I want 10 a.m. and you're like in Van Nuys, and then like 2 p.m. is like, oh, but then I want like what's another one? North Hills is right there by somewhere.
Yeah, Glendale.
Only Glendale, yeah. No, and then you're like, yeah, that's cool, and then you're like running late. Oh, I'm running late, and then you're just like,
because you don't count traffic.
You don't count traffic. So now once you get, you know, years in, you could like, hey, you know what? Hey, like you're comfortable now. You could like, you know what? I have a client in somewhere. You know, it works better this time, and then you know your clients are
just
over.
do one big route.
But those are the things that when you're starting, like you're thugging. Then now you're driving, doom, 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 wasting gas. But what's your your worst, like así como, like a customer like te dio como like fuck, like ahorita.
I dealt with a customer and I kept them, and even though my girl would tell me, you need to get rid of them, they're good people, but they're not good people. And I'm like, you're right, they're good people, but when it comes to business, they're not good people. And I kept dragging them along, and I had them every 2 weeks, and I would move things for them. I would wake up at 5 in the morning, leave my house early as hell, and I remember I was not making much money from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and it was bad because I didn't want to be a rude person. I didn't want to get the bad side of the story, like this guy cut me off, whatever. I was giving them like, hopefully they'll change, hopefully they'll be better. And that was one of the worst things, that I carried a bad client for too long. You know, you have to know when to let go and know, you know what, I'm sorry, but it's not working out, you know. And now I've done it, you know. I'm like, you know what, it's just, I can't do it no more. Like, you do extra for some clients and you're like, they don't see it, you know. And they think it's like, oh, well, he's my car wash guy, he'll do it. Yeah.
And for years, well, I didn't know this for you, and then one time it came out, you're like, I used to cancel you because I used to go do this guy. And that's where it comes in, so it's talking about the guy where, you know, my first guy he took me was like Lambos, and he used to push him. He would have his Friday mornings, and I used to be like, hey, I want Friday morning. Like, nah, you can't. And then he would book me, and then he would cancel me. And so one time he's like, damn, like he's paying me more. So that's when you have to know. And business is hard because, you know, in the beginning you want to do the Lambos, you want to do the Rolls Royce, and I had a Honda, and it's like, but then over time, once you get like me now, like I don't care what kind of car you drive.
As long as you're steady.
As long as you're steady and you value my work, and you value like who I am as a person. Because like it's cool, you're paying me for a car wash, but you get to a point where you're human at the end of the day. You know, you want to be appreciated. Some people don't appreciate you. Yeah. And that's when you start realizing like who appreciates you and who doesn't and stuff like that. Yep. But what should I talk about?
Like right now that you're telling me about that, I had one client that he's very well known, but he didn't value my time. And I know who you're talking about. And I would work projects for him at 6 in the morning and sometimes even midnight. And that's where I was like, you know what, the money is good, the pay is good, but he wouldn't value my time. I canceled some people. I even told my girl, I'm scared that these people are gonna leave me. They're on my regular schedule. They make my regular payments. You know, I pay my phone bill, my rent. I feed my kids because they're on every week schedule. And this guy just hits me up randomly. And I was putting him before a lot of people. And at the end, I had to kind of little by little just distance myself and be like, you know what? You get this day, that's when I'm available. If that doesn't work, you know,
that's it, yeah.
Because they don't value your time. And like this guy had exotics, you know, big time. You know, he had a shop in Studio City that I would go to, and I was like, he would open the shop for me, and I would work late. And it becomes where you have to not chase the money, but chase the frequency. You know, frequency.
Like. And it's crazy because I remember at one point that we went to a concert. We went to see Edgardo, dude. It was a Friday, I think. No, it was Saturday night, and we're drinking. The concert's going. It's about to end. It's like 11. It was a long concert. It was like 11 o'clock, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go to work tomorrow?" He's like, "But we have to be there at 3 a.m."
And we were at the concert, and I showed you the
he's
photo.
Like, "Hey, down." And I remember being like,
"He needs us."
I remember being like, "Nah, I'm not down." And then I'm drinking. Then we go buy more round. I'm like, you know what? I look, and I tell my ex, I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to go to work tomorrow.
Because everything was expensive. And then when I told him, I'm like, I'll give you half. Let's go. He's like, oh.
And we when we get home, we sleep like 30 minutes.
We knocked out for 40 minutes. We woke up and I'm like, I need a shower.
But see, those are the things that no one sees. Like, bro, you're out partying and then de repente es como, I gotta go work. And then I got a client too right there, like right there on Violent. And I would do his cars. There was a broker that I was doing. Remember that one? Like, And I was doing him at 4 a.m. And it was funny because I picked up my mom from Japan the other day. And my sister sees the key and I saw his mailbox. I would like pull up. And you know, no one knows, you know, no one sees this. But I would pull up, open the little, you know, the key box, get all the keys. And now I'm washing, you know, cars at 3, 4 in. I'm like lights. And it's a struggle. It
is.
And the time that we went, so it was cold. We went in PJs. We didn't even change into detail because we just went.
I was in sweats.
He gave me like some PJs. I was like, bro, I'll take this. We went. It was cold. We're washing the car and the car's getting fogged up again. So there we go wiping it again because it's like for a car show. And it's like we're working double and it's cold. And then it's like
owner messages me, I need to leave by 6:30. I'm like, damn it.
Damn, the car is still wet, like full on wet. There's no, and it's like, but these are the things that, you know, people just see like video. And
like, they just see the finished product.
I just did a, you know, we did like it was like a rare car. The Porsche, no, it was like with the window all weird.
The Porsche, and then we did the Lamborghini.
Like 10 grand, and I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Yep.
And it's like GTA.
We did the SVJ.
The SVJ. Yeah. It was a Revolto too, huh?
The Revolto. It was when it first just came out.
Yeah. No, but those are the, you know, the secrets, you know. But for the people what do you think that people don't see about the detail business, like behind closed doors, things that you like for years you've gone through, and you're like, no one has ever seen this part?
Honestly, I think is the amount of work that we put into behind the scenes. From if I get a ceramic coating, I gotta go buy pads, gotta go buy compounds. Sometimes I don't have it, and I have to go to Vitals. And I message him. He's a good friend of mine. You know, I'm a good client, so I'll message him. He lets me pick up those things late at night in front of his doorstep. Like, I left them out in the front, you know. And that's one thing I appreciate. But they don't see the 45 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. It's 45 minutes that way, 45 minutes back. All just to get that job done, you know. And not just that, but sometimes it's like washing our rags. We like to be presentable, you know. We like to keep everything clean. And picking up a car. You know, after we go eat, after dinner, I tell my girl, like, let's go pick this car. We go over here, we go over there. She's my chauffeur. And they don't see that, you know. They just see the cars in the garage, you know, and they don't.
That's it.
They don't take accountability. Like, but that's me. I like to make my clients' life easier because that's what I think sells me more. I'll be like, hey, if you cannot drop off the car, I'll pick it up. No worries, you know. And that's something that I've offered from the beginning, just to keep them as a client and do the business.
And it's at the same time, like, it makes their life easier, but it makes your life harder because in a way, you're driving a car on the freeway. You know, accidents happen. Imagine you crash your car, and these are things that your client doesn't see. You know, people are not seeing. It's like, bro, we're risking. In general, when you're working on someone's car, you're risking everything. Like, you scratch someone's car, you don't even know. Like, oh, did I scratch that? You know, like, you don't even know. And you could be so careful, but they always say, like, the more careful you are, the more, like, you know, you mess something up. And those are, I think, like the behind the scenes that people don't like,
because they don't see that because you're missing time with your family. Bring them with me, you know. But like, it's an hour and a half driving that we could have just been watching a movie and have the client drop off the car. You know, they see, like, you know, how many coatings I do, but they don't see the hard work that gets put to it, you know.
But the good thing, I feel like it's rewarding because it's a lot of hard work. But one thing that's another thing that a lot of people don't know. Like, people look at, like, it's a detailer and a carwachero. You can't. There's like people, like, it's a very fine line. I feel like, but like it's separated. It's a very fine line, but there's not even a very fine line. Or would you say it's a fine line, or did
It's
you say
a fine line. Well, because there's like the
como-
good car washeros and the cheap detailers, you know.
Okay, yeah,
That's
because
where
you
the
could put a carwachero on a cheap dealer, and you could put a detailer with like a carwachero, and it's like, okay, now it's different.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of things that go behind. And it's like when I did it full time, I remember like, you know, you stress out. Sometimes you don't like, you know, I talked about in there was times where I couldn't, you know, I didn't have money to eat, stuff like that. But it's a very rewarding career, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, you get to wash cars, you get to see, you know, you get to drive these cars. You know, you've driven Ferrari, you've driven Revuelto, you've driven like,
Yeah.
what's like the bet? Like you worked on a Bugatti, you know, at one point too.
I worked on a Bugatti for another detailer.
Yeah, it's like
he hit me up and he's like, hey, like, you know, he likes the work I do. He's like, I got a client. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And we agreed on it. He had a little shop at that time. I went to go do it and took care of business, and he liked the work, you know.
Yeah.
I did a couple other cars for him, and I appreciate that because that also helps me out, you know. Even though I didn't meet the client, I'm like, you know what? I know that this detailer chose me because he likes my work. I'm pretty sure the client's, you know, his client's gonna be happy with it.
Yeah. No, that's cool. But one thing I want to talk about is remember the time my van got broken into. So I talked about in the first episode.
Oh my God, man!
That's another thing too that people don't see, like that kind of stuff. You know, when you start from zero again, you start your business, and then I got broken into at your house. So
They take a chunk.
if you go back, so now that you know we're on this episode, you have to go back to my first episode, and he's the person that I'm talking about in the whole episode most of the time when I'm talking about my business. They broke into my van. For you being there, like, what did you feel like? Damn, like
I felt so bad, especially because my garage is not the biggest garage, but his van was huge. My van would take space. That remember after that we squeezed in the van.
yeah, because we always thought it wouldn't fit.
Yeah, because it's too big. Yeah,
It was
we
too
knew.
big, yeah.
We knew it didn't fit.
And I think for like 2 years, no,
Yeah,
like a
no,
year.
like
It was
a year. You'll park it outside, and we were checking in the night. You know, let's go. You know, make sure everything's safe. And after you got broken into, I remember one time I'm like, let's just move everything and see if it fits. And like by this much,
Al puro
and
ras.
I'm like, damn. And I told my girl, I'm like, this whole time the van fit.
No, we tried it because they broke into my van, so my window was broken. And he's like, well, like, where are we gonna park it? You know, like at the time, I was like, my ex lived in an apartment. He lived in an apartment. I was like, I drive it all the way to Palmdale, but I'm like, I have a broken window. I gotta get everything fixed. He's like, well, okay. He's like, we gotta try to put it in, and it fit. And then that's when we're like, fuck.
The whole time I felt bad. I remember when you left, I talked to my girl for like 20 minutes. I'm like, it fit, and I felt so horrible because I'm like, damn, like this could have been prevented, you know.
Yeah.
And it sucks, you know. But I always told, you know, the people that do bad stuff, hopefully they get theirs, you know.
And the good thing is, like, that's when we talk about like having connections. So he was already, you know, that's making connection between the business, because you're very good at como networking. You always network. I've noticed that you always network, and thanks to him, he had a bunch of networks and a bunch of, you know, people that trusted him and stuff like that were able to trust me now because I know him. And when you walk around with someone, it's like you're a big name in the, you know, in the industry. Yeah. Because, you know, your brother was a big name, and then you made your own name. Yeah. So now it's like you have two people that, like, you know, like people say like, oh, you get followed by him, they follow you, and like, how do you know him? And it's like they start trusting you just because of this person. Word
of mouth, yeah.
Word of mouth. And thanks to that, I talked about that, I was able to just keep. I mean, it kind of seemed we thought like I wanted to give up. I'm not like, I was like, that's it, like I'm done. Cause I was already kind of like I was going downhill. I was like, okay, like maybe this is not for me. But it's like you always need someone to push you. You always need. That's what I was talking about in the first one, in the first episode. That thanks to you, you have your kids, you have your wife that push you, because there's been days where, you know, you struggle. Yeah. Pero todavía es como, pues, le tengo que dar, like le tengo que seguir dando. Yeah. And thanks to, you know, the people around me, the support system. I probably think if it wasn't for you, probably like, nah, like just keep doing it. I probably would like, nah, I don't want to do this no more. Cause it's like, it's not for, like, it's not that it's not for everyone, but like it's a cutthroat business.
It's a cutthroat business, but like I said, he always showed interest. And I remember once I started showing him how to polish and do ceramic coatings, and he got it like this. Yeah. And you got it, and I'm all like, damn, like he's gonna do good. And I remember when we would do the cars in one day, and we even the Escalade we did. Where I was teaching the other two detailers, and you did the other half. I didn't have to look through his work. I'm like, I know his work is good, and even to this day, I still do that truck. Yeah, and that thing is, you know, perfect condition. So I just like showing people, and if I see the investment back, you know, and the interest, I like feeding off of that.
Yeah, and that's how I mean, the first car I did was my Honda, and I remember I was like, starting, and I paid him. I paid him to do the Honda. And I did most of the work on that one, right? But that's the thing, no one knows. Like, so the people that paid you, like they're paying you, but that's what comes with paying someone. Like you're learning, but you're doing the work. And when the moment, like detailers, if you're out there and you want to, you know, take a, you know, class from him, it's like in the beginning you look at, you're like, oh, I'm paying, I don't know what you charge now, but like you're paying whatever, like only 2,000, you know, for like some people that charge so much. Yeah, it's 2,000. It's, you know, it's a hit. You know, don't get me wrong, it's a hit, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to go work for him. I'm gonna do work for free. But in the long run, I feel like, to me, now where I work now, that's all I do. And what I know now, like I know way more. But I got the job because I knew what I knew. You know, because I paid someone to teach me that.
You walked in knowing.
I walked in knowing you at least know something. You know, and thanks to that, that's why I always tell people, and it's because like, thanks to that, like just like that one small payment, now, you know, thanks to that, I have a good job and I'm able to do something out of detail. Well, it's still detailing, but it will open a door, you know, open
and
another
you have,
door.
you know, you have ammunition in
Yeah, because now you walk in there and they're like, you know how to do this? I didn't know how to wet sand. Now that I do, but I like.
Now you do it better than me.
Yeah, now, but in the moment I was like, Ruben told me like this. I'm like, yeah, I kind of know a little bit. And then now, like the other day, I showed you a picture, remember?
Yeah, and I'm like,
now I'm wet
sanding. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Now I'm wet sanding. You probably, do you wet sand now?
Not full cars like that, you know, but now it's scratches and stuff.
Yeah, now, see, that's what I'm saying. So now it's like me, I could show, and at that, when I was hired at the beginning, you were like, oh, teach me how to wet sand eventually.
Yeah, I told
But at that time, I was still like nibbing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna teach you. Me thinking like, you know, I got in there, I was like, now I know how to wet sand, and he doesn't. But then it's like, at that moment, I didn't know how to wet sand yet. So then I come to this location, now I'm like wet sanding the car completely. Now I'm like, damn, like, that's still lo bueno.
And that's what I like, you know, I like to see that, you know, you have a future, like I told you, you can go anywhere after this, you know. If that door ever shuts down, I could go to a body shop, I could do this and that, you know, and then in the long run, open up your own body shop, you know.
And that's the thing that I look at, like, but it's like, once you start doing this for like for me, like it's because I do detailing now, right? Like at my job, and I'm like, dude, I could wet sand a full car if I wanted to, and I know like if I left there and I started promoting these jobs, like I would probably do good. But it's like, again, you gotta find clientele for that. You gotta people that will pay that. That's another thing too. Once like you're going like I don't see it because I'm not paying for it, but I'm going through bottles and bottles of compound. I'm going through packs and packs of sandpaper. Each sandpaper, I don't know how much. It's like probably $20, I think. And I go through like a box, like every car. But I'm not paying for it. I'm like, I'm gonna. And I think that's why wet sand's so good, because I'm like, I'm not paying for it. But nah, that's the thing that I always tell people, like, no matter what, because we fell off. There was a point where we fell off, and no matter what, I could never like como. Every time people tell me like, oh, how'd you start? How do you know this? It's como I always have to give you my flowers, you know, because like some person, somebody taught me, and it's like you can't take that away from somebody.
Yeah, and then that's a good staple that you show, because like you're not, even though we were not talking everything, you still mention that, you know. Yeah,
because it's like you just can't get rid of that. Like at the end, someone taught you. And some people will be like, nah, I learned this on my own.
Or they deny it,
and they deny it, like I didn't get help. And it's like, there's a bunch of people out there that like, nah, I didn't get help, and they don't want to accept the fact that, you know, that they got help. But
you know what's crazy? I mean, to get off topic a little bit, you know, my said he paid for my class.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I told all the detailers that I trained, I'm like, I never paid for my class.
Yeah.
My client gave it to me for my birthday because I mentioned I wanted to do it. He knew the guy that did it, Keith, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna give it to you for your birthday. I'm like, nah, you don't have to. Class is $1,600, and he just gave it to me.
Yeah.
And he's like, call him. He knew I paid for it. Whenever you're gonna do it, payment's taken care of. I called him. 2 weeks later, I set you up. I took it, and everything I learned was from him. And little by little, I did little tweaks, you know, different compounds, different pads. I started to learn the paint, and that's why I learned everything.
What's up, everybody? There was technical difficulty. We stopped recording, and then we found out that, you know, the video stopped recording in 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes before, no?
Yeah.
We said 5 minutes. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to Ruben for coming on. I was saying this is an episode that I didn't expect to be, you know, this soon. I had him on the list, and I had him at the bottom. I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna ask him, but one day he'll come. Y pues se dio, you know, my 3rd episode. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk about more eventually in the future. We know we have another episode, maybe doing a carne asada, you know, what we both like doing. Again, shout out to my boys from All In. Shout out Ivan and Richie. We had an episode in Culiacan planned for you guys, and it didn't go as planned. I flew all the way out there for a podcast, and no se hizo. But we made good memories, and Ivan, you know, he said he's gonna come down here, so we get to record on the set. And, you know, other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the support. The first month, I haven't posted in a while, but the first month posting, you guys showed a lot of love. You know, for the people that don't know me and you're watching, thank you for showing love without even knowing who I am. But make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure you tune in with Ruben on his page. I'll pop up his ad right there, Ruben Auto Detail. Make sure to follow him. Make sure to book your appointments with him. You know, He makes funny skits on his Instagram. You get to know him about, you know, who he is way more than just here. And then maybe we'll do another one and you guys, you know, ask us some questions. But other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.